Some say power corrupts. It is true. Power does corrupt. So in our world, we seek power because it brings privilege, it brings advantage, it brings opportunities, those that have power. But here's the catch. Once you get it, what I found out, most people can't handle power once they get it. They forget where they come from. They don't give nothing back. Tangibly, they give speeches, basically. And they have become corrupted because they see themselves made in God's image, but they kind of see their brother as though God made some kind of, or their sister as some kind of mistake. And God himself made these people inferior. So that is what power does. It corrupts you. So if you're trying to strive to be some great leader, just understand 1000% you are and I am a sinner. That means we're going to fall short of the perfect leader. The flaws and weaknesses it just compasses, inflames us to try to abuse power. It is in the nature of man. That's why Jesus said, the nations of this world like to exercise those that are great or those that have positioned themselves to exercise authority. They love to do it and control the people. And Jesus said, with you, talking to the apostles, should not be with you guys. You got to be the peculiar people, the holy nation, the family of God. Just like when they came out of Egypt and Israel, they came out to worship the Most High God. And Jesus Christ came and told us, don't let it be don't rule like they do. How do they rule? Everything's a pyramid and appeals to the elite. And if you look worldwide, all these nations, every last one of them seems to have corruption in power. Those that's in authority. You have rich countries, and the people stay poor for generations after generations. Look at Venezuela. Look at Africa and certain regions and power. And, the power structures that set Britain, England, America, it's all like this. The church is the same thing. It's like this. But Jesus said, the greatest among you will be servant. And I guess we think that means a foot washing thing and a communion. That is good for tradition. And it's a show of humility. But remember, the wisdom that is earthly is going to show you false humility. True humility would be to serve the people that you govern for their benefit. Not your gain, not what comes with the benefits. I would take Samuel as a good example. He told the people at the end of his ministry, I haven't took nothing from you. In other words, he didn't have a motive. He served. I'm talking about a lifestyle of service. Samuel the prophet could look at them people and say, man, I've served you. I didn't gain out of this. I didn't use the opportunity to gain. Once you start gaining from people of God, and I have experienced this in many, many churches, so please don't think I'm just talking about one church. I've been in so many churches I can't count, and have talked to and seen many things over 40 years. Most of the time, because we live in America, it reverses itself. Then the people become subject to the king or the queen, whoever the ruler is. And when that happens, once you get a taste of being served, you got water every 5 minutes, people waiting on you. Once you get a hold of that, and people praising you and calling out your name, you pretty much in. Because there's something about that high place right there that corrupts. If we don't make the choice to be a disciple of Christ and follow him. And when people were hungry, he fed them that followed him to the full. Not all the time, but he served them. Whatever the outcome, the people got the benefit. Here, watch this, in the flesh. So healing, you see, raising the dead. He met mankind where they were. Everyone flashes a commercial. A leader in this, a leader in that. Come buy my stuff. And people follow, buy their stuff. And then, the companies don't even give anything back. So here's the test of a true leader. If they're not giving nothing back to their people, to their tribe, and to their flocks, or whoever's following who, politicians, if they can't give back, wherever you are in the world, they're not serving with the right intention. Anybody that won't help their people when they're in trouble, and we see Venezuela, something's wrong with that leadership. So you have a lot of people politicking to get in power because they covet it. They want it so bad, and they'll do anything to, once they get it, they'll do anything to keep it. But it's, in the end, it's like this. It's not going to be like this. That's the world. The world is like this. Here's the kingdom of heaven. It's like this. Serving, helping, no motives. And that's why the prophet Jeremiah could say that the prophets were a greedy gang. They were leaders. But once they tasted of someone taking care of them or blessing them, it corrupted them. And there's no condemnation about this from me. Every leader got to judge their own heart and see where you stand in it. If you believe that you really are going to lead God's people or a nation or something like that, and it don't equal necessities being met, a plan talked about, communication, then you're hiding something. Those are those demons that make you hide, because you're probably profiteering off of the collective. But when the people that support the structure, politics, let's look at that, they let them down. There are people and kids and children and families that have been, and I'm going to give you a good example, that have been the cause and effect of their mothers and fathers dying and being incarcerated behind crack cocaine. Now I'm African American. Now, we were told, vote for Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm using this as an example because I wouldn't expect Trump to stop drugs for black people, but if he's a leader, he should. But I definitely, if you get my vote, that you're going to lead the way Christ would have you to lead. It would have you serve the people. Now, for generations, because of crack cocaine coming from South America, coming through the Mexican border, and so forth and so on, it is a known fact that that's where the cocaine has been coming from. And you know, we turn a blind eye. I don't know, maybe back in the day, you know, when America and China were in bed with drugs, the Brits, and the drug trade of heroin, which they knew so well, because it's funny how the corporation, so-called leader in the community, pulled out and went down to another country and left them vacant, and all these drugs flooded in. You can make money off incarceration. You can make money off of kicking in doors. Detroit SWAT shows you what's going on. But all these families that are presently being destroyed. And we vote for Biden and a black woman from California, Kamala Harris. And I don't condemn Mrs. Harris. I understand power corrupts. And her being a prosecutor all this time, how many black males, females, has she sent away for the drug? Because the police kicked in the door, the president never sanctioned the countries, because they do trade, that send the cocaine. And today, there are children, what we call crack babies, parents destroyed, either incarcerated or dead. And this black woman, when the proof, and all you gotta do is put in Fox News border, because CNN's not gonna show you the drugs. They're not gonna do it. They are corrupt. They only gonna show you what they want you to know. Fox News is corrupt. But you can look at the contrast and find where the enemy, because they're gonna expose each other. They have kilos that already been confiscated of drugs coming over the border. When they told her she was in charge 2-3 months ago, whatever, the rumors were coming that the cartels were bringing drugs. And she says, recently, I'm gonna go in June. So she waited a long time. Benefit to the corrupt party, they get votes. But where is her vengeance for a people? I can't even say, I don't even know. It's such a hypocrisy to lock people up to the fullest of the law. Some on a third strike, probably for a couple rocks. And then not go down to the border and say, it's drugs down here? Because we'll deal with immigration, but it's drugs down here, and they have destroyed my people. She's not black now, of course. She works for the country. I'm showing you how power corrupts. Make an excuse, and even after they showed all those kilos of drugs, wait until they, I guess, move with 92, 323 metric tons to, I think, 180 metric tons per every 6 months, man. 92, 93. God knows what the numbers are now. 2.4 metric tons in Baltimore caught on one thing from Colombia. Here's the thing. She knows that. She's black. And the people in power said vote for her because they knew she would. Now she ain't a prosecutor. She's not going to go down and slay the hand of the dragon because the politicians will benefit from the immigrant vote. So she's willing to sell her people out and not go to the border until when? June? How much drugs have came through the country heading for black neighborhoods? But this lady will give you life on your third strike in California, or second strike. Well, having just a little bit of it, but won't do anything to confront the cartels, the Latinos down in South America, or the Mexicans, or whoever in the hell bring them drugs over here. She won't come confront them. So meanwhile, you have generation of curses like going on forever. And this lady won't lift a finger to do it.